I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, like 2 to 5 years later.
Oh, 95% are going to die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
there's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
So we have a bit to talk about. This whole Luna UST situation. I was about this close to really getting wrecked, and this whole situation taught me a lot. It taught a lot of people in the community a lot, and I'm sure given this whole situation and the birth of the bear market winter, which is pretty much what it seems like we're turning into, I'm sure a lot more Bitcoin maxis are going to be birthed out of this whole situation. Now on October 23rd 2021, I made a video titled "Why Terra Luna Will Explode, Luna Price Prediction." I was extremely bullish on Terra Luna. I really liked the project and I was quite bullish on it. It was still ranked at the 11th position when I made this video, and it was at $41. And at this point, I actually bought. So during this time, I was buying a bit of of Luna at this point in time, and I bought at 40 something dollars around right at this video. And then after that, I actually sold at double. It was around $80. And at the time, I thought I was kind of dumb for doing that when I sold at around $80 because I thought, the project is going over $100. I mean, it managed to go over $100. And I kind of felt like I missed out, right? Fear of missing out. And looking right now in hindsight, I'm so happy that I managed to get out of that position. But I did lose on UST, and I did sell at around 94 cents when it started to depeg. It was, let's try to pull this up. Wait, I think on here. So around the 9th, I went on the news and I saw a couple of things, and I noticed that a couple people on Twitter and a couple other spaces were talking about the depegging of UST. I thought, that's weird, but at the same time, UST has lost its peg before. Just a little bit, as stable coins tend to do. Sometimes USDC is not exactly at $1. Sometimes USDT is not. And, it's what happens. And I started to read a couple of different theories as how UST could actually fully depeg and not come back to its peg. And also, this could be a start of a complete bear market, winter type of situation, black swan event. And, sometimes I've seen a lot of posts like this about how certain projects can fully collapse. And, I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. But this guy's thesis that I read looked quite promising, and I got a bit spooked, to be honest. I managed to sell at around 94 cents. I sold all my UST at 94 cents. And when I saw it hit 95 cents, I got fully spooked. It was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing that. Because it was an amount of money. It was like, obviously it was around less than 5% of my portfolio, but it was like at the same time, I didn't want to lose that capital. I definitely wanted to preserve it as, it's just a stable coin. And most people in the community thought that the only inherent risk would be that Anchor Protocol would start, lowering their APYs, which they already announced that they were doing. So for people who are actually using the Anchor Protocol, you have to have at least, I believe it's around like $1 or a couple dollars worth of UST as a fee to pay to actually pull out your Anchor Protocol savings, your UST that's on there, and that's getting that 20% APY, or was, right? And so I didn't have the fee on my TerraStation wallet. So I quickly went into KuCoin. I was buying UST and I was just sending, as many transactions over to my TerraStation wallet as I could. And it was taking forever. I couldn't even get any UST on my TerraStation wallet to pay for the fee to take my UST off of the Anchor Protocol. And so I was really spooked. And thank God, I remember that another exchange that I have and use also listed UST. And so from there, I was able to buy UST on that exchange. And then I sent it over to my TerraStation wallet. And from there, it actually got accepted. So for some reason, KuCoin was having issues with sending over UST to TerraStation. Not sure why. I don't know. I know in the past it has taken a while, but this definitely spooked me to the point where I went to another exchange and from there sent money over to my TerraStation wallet. From there, I was able to withdraw and then I sent it over to an exchange and then I just cashed it out and I sold at around 94 cents. This whole situation is absolutely crazy. I was checking the Terra Luna subreddit and, all the posts are, you just pretty much the Black Swan event type of post and, a bunch of dark stuff. And I feel so bad for the investors. What's crazy is that, Terra Luna is a project that really had what seemingly was a lot of potential. And what's crazy is that it had a significant flaw. The Luna and UST and the UST peg had a significant flaw. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And, I heard that UST as an algorithmic stablecoin could, one day possibly come off of its peg for a bit, but I figured, okay, if it ever does, then it'll probably come back, right? And that was my thought moving forward with that. And my thought with the Anchor protocol is that the only inherent risk would be, that the 20% APY would just simply get lowered over time. What's crazy is that I know there was a ton of people who had Luna locked up, and I don't know what to say. I feel like my heart honestly goes out to them. And fundamentally, the Terra project was somewhat sound. I mean, I made a video talking about it back then on October, and a lot of other people were, which by the way, I'm probably going to private this video. And when I bought in around this price point at around $41, I still believe that the project was really sound. And like I said, when I sold at 80 something dollars, I thought I was dumb for missing out on the whole train to go over, $100. What's crazy though is that, this was a top 10 project and we saw something like this. It's not like, the 50th position. It's not in the 100th. It's not in the 200th. This was amongst the top 10 position. And it was an absolute devastation of an event that occurred. Now, the Luna token, I see that CMC and it looks like a bunch of exchanges are all reporting different numbers. I saw at one point Kraken had a different price than KuCoin and also Coinbase and also Binance and a couple of other exchanges. They were all like different, a little bit, which it's kind of as expected given the volatility that we've seen here. Now, just take a look at this. Right now, it's at 0.00007672. And looks like we have some news from CoinMarketCap. Due to the depegging of UST, Luna is experiencing extreme volatility. Please proceed with caution. The Terra blockchain was also halted. Yes, so they halted it. This is an announcement that the Terra blockchain is officially halted at block blah blah blah. Terra validators have halted the network to come up with a plan to reconstitute it. More updates to come. This is a tweet by this guy Stable Chen, who I believe is a developer on the Terra Foundation and all that. The community is deciding on a new Terra money. Between restoring a snapshot prior to attack, removing TFL, fully collateralizing UST, and drafting and deliberating new mechanisms for Luna. We must salvage the remaining value in the ecosystem and community and rebuild the right way. So at the time, Do Kwon, the founder of Terra and the UST stablecoin, talked about how they had BTC in reserves to fully back up UST. And a lot of people thought that because Do Kwon bought a lot of Bitcoin, that UST was going to be fully backed. And I think this also brought in a lot more people that wanted to finally stake and get that, close to 20% APY on Anchor Protocol and also just other platforms as well. And so this is absolutely insane. Let's take a look at this. I want to show you guys this. This was a video that was posted, and it was Do Kwon and the founder of Terra. Let's just play this.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, like 2 to 5 years later.
Oh, 95% are going to die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
there's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
This is another thing I want to show you guys. Probably the most stupid thread I've ever read in this decade. Silence is perfectly acceptable. Option if stupid. Billionaires in my following. Go ahead. See what happens. This guy basically talked about the flaw of UST and Luna a few weeks ago. I responded and basically just talking about how UST could possibly collapse. And Do Kwon was kind of edging them on, saying, yeah, go ahead. And this was in November 28th, 2021. I really like this post because it's extremely simple and kind of just shows the way of how this whole thing happened. In reality, Luna and UST are just massive failures due to a pretty significant flaw in the way UST was supposed to keep its peg. Thing is that it's not backed by real USD, and it's also not over collateralized like DAI, for example. The way algorithmic stablecoins keep their value, or don't apparently, is that you can always burn them for $1 of Luna, not for any fixed amount of Luna, but for whatever amount of Luna currently has a value of $1. And this does have the advantage that you don't rely on a centralized company or on people that take risky DeFi loans to mint the stablecoin, but this completely collapses if too many people cash out at once. See, you only get $1 through that algorithmic approach if you burn 1 UST for Luna and then sell your Luna. This is a problem because if Luna is being sold, it is losing value, and if masses of people sell it at once, it could lose its value faster than you could sell your $1 of Luna for one actual dollar. And in that case, UST is practically no longer backed by enough value. And a lot of people were speculating that hedge funds or bad actors could be behind that. But, if they were pretty much just, exposing a flaw that was just there in the system. And it's not like they did anything illegal. They're pretty much just exposing a flaw and, destroying a lot of people's financial investments at the same time. So maybe there was an attack, maybe not. That a stablecoin lost its value at any exchange for a short period of time isn't a problem. That happens all the time, even if it's just 1%. But that the algorithm that gave UST its value is completely unable to let the UST holders cash out without eating each other alive is made pretty much to be a ticking time bomb. There is no need for any sort of attack for UST to collapse. That was bound to happen at some point. So this is really just a devastating thing for UST. A lot of people got wrecked in the markets. A ton of people had Luna locked up on exchanges. A lot of people had UST locked up and could not sell, but simply had to watch their investments of what they thought was a solid project fail. And right now, a lot of people in the crypto community have lost a lot of trust with different stablecoins and just different projects in general. I think, this could honestly create the full bear winter type of scenario. And given that there was a lot of projects that really didn't have a whole lot of fundamentals, and instead were just, copycats, pretty much just copied, pasted the code, I think a lot of projects are going to get weeded out during this up and coming winter. And I also think that a lot of Bitcoin maxis are going to be birthed right now, pretty much because of this whole situation. So let me know what you guys have to think about this whole situation and scenario down below in the comments. Let me know your guys' stories and, what you just think about it. As always, make sure to join my Telegram group. I was posting a couple of things and updates given this whole situation. It's also kind of why I haven't posted, because I haven't been sleeping recently and there was just a whole lot of stress going on with the whole community. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all stay strong out there, as this whole situation has just been a bloodbath for the entire markets, for most people's portfolios and positions, and just, as a market as a whole.